Shalom, shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praise, glory, and honor unto Yahweh, Bahashem Yahushai, Bahashem Rakahak Wadash, Kohalor Yahweh Bahashem Yahushai. I'm a Hebrew Israelite. The true Hebrew Israelites today would be known as the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, which are the true biblical Israelites today, coming back to our heritage. All right, and we call upon the true name of the Heavenly Father and the Son in the Hebrew tongue, Yahweh Ba'ashem Shai. Double honor to the elders and apostles, Great Millstone, who I learned this truth from. And peace and salutations to all the sincere Akim, waking up and pushing the truth throughout the four corners of the earth. All right, and bringing these scriptures out so we can get up out of here. And I wanted to touch on many wives because having multiple wives is something that is part of our customs as men. Even though we're under these curses right now, everybody has questions. Well, all of the answers are right here in the scriptures. Why don't we get along with our women? Why is the Israelite woman so wicked? All right, towards the Israelite man, but then she'll go to get an African man and respect him, or an Edomite man and respect him. Well, that's because pursuant to the curses in Deuteronomy, the 28th chapter, it said, "Thy wife shall be have an evil eye towards the husband." As a matter of fact, let's just go get right into that. Deuteronomy 28 and 56. The tender and delicate woman among you, which would not adventure to set the sole of her foot upon the ground for delicateness and tenderness, her eye shall be evil toward the husband of her bosom, and toward her son, and toward her daughter, and toward her young one that cometh out from between her feet, and toward her children, which she shall bear, for she shall eat them for one of all things secretly in the siege of straitness, wherewith thine enemy shall distress thee within thy gates. So this is a curse that fell upon us, all right, for not following Yahweh Shema Shai's laws, statutes, and commandments that he gave us. There was 613 laws that the Lord gave us, and if we didn't follow those laws, that we would catch these curses. So these curses are only upon the so-called Negro, Latino, Native American, especially the so-called Negro. As you can see, so-called Negro is like extremely cursed, because that's the head tribe of the nation of Israel. So the chastisement of the Lord, the wrath of the Lord, is heavy upon Judah right now. And that's why it says in Genesis 49, um, um, Genesis 49:8, Judah, thou art he whom thy brethren shall praise. Thy hand shall be in the neck of thine enemies. Thy father's children shall bow down before thee. All right. So, Judah predominantly, they don't have a land. Their land is right here with Esau. Benjamin has its own, specific land. Levi, all of the tribes, they have a home base. But Judah is right here in the neck of their enemies. But you got Judites, in western parts of Africa, Judah everywhere, but predominantly, all right, the so-called African Americans right here in America under the yoke of our enemies, as well as the other tribes. It says, Judah is a lion's whelp from the prey, my son, thou art gone up. He stooped down, he crouched down as a lion, and as an old lion, who shall rouse him up? That's right, and the Lord is rousing up the spirit of Jake right now, coming back into this truth, coming back, putting our woman in order, putting things in perspective through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shema Shai. Starting with the elders, the truth came out in New York, starting with Judah. All right, now all of the other trickling down to all the other tribes waking up to this truth. All right, so let's go to Genesis chapter 3. I'm sorry, Genesis chapter 5. I'm sorry, Genesis chapter 6. That's what I meant. It's Genesis chapter 6 and verse 1. It says, "And it came to pass when men began to multiply on the face of the earth, and daughters were born unto them, that the sons of the Most High saw the daughters of men, that they were fair, and took them wives of all which they chose." Right? Took them wives of all which they chose. So from the beginning, and this is in the book of Genesis, all right, we were set up to have multiple women. All right, there was nothing wrong with this. The Lord commanded us to be fruitful and multiply. And the man, he is the one that has the seed, all right? And to plant seed means to be a husband. Husbandry is to plant agriculture. You go look into it, all right? That's why, you know, when a man is, you know, making love to a woman, he's plowing that field. He's plowing that field and sowing seed in it, all right? And, women, they're the incubator of the seed. They're the fertile ground and where the seed is being planted. And a man has enough sperm or enough seed to reproduce a lot of life, you know. Um, while a woman has her eggs, once a month or whatever, and then they have their period and things of that nature. A man is on go 24/7, 24/7, 24/7, being able to produce, children. All right. And that's biology, basic biology. This is Genesis chapter 2 and I'm sorry, 1 and Genesis 1 and 22. "And the Most High blessed them, saying, Be fruitful and multiply, and fill the waters and the seas, and let fowl multiply in the earth." That's right. Okay, so jump down to verse 28. It says, "And the Most High blessed them, and the Most High said unto them, Be fruitful and multiply, and replenish the earth and subdue it, and have dominion over the fish of the sea, and over the fowl of the air, and over every living thing that moveth upon the earth." So the Lord commanded us to be fruitful and to multiply. All right, and there's many different all throughout the scripture where men having multiple women. All right, so let's go to Genesis. Start at Genesis 16 and verse 1. It says, "Now Sarah, Abraham's wife, bare him no children, and she had an handmaid, an Egyptian, whose name was Hagar. And Sarai said unto Abram, Behold, now the Lord hath restrained me from bearing. I pray thee, go in unto my maid. It may be that I may obtain children by her. And Abram hearkened to the voice of Sarai. And Sarai, Abram's wife, took Hagar her maid, the Egyptian, after Abram had dwelt 10 years in the land of Canaan, and gave her to her husband Abram to be his wife." All right. So what does it mean to be a wife? To pretty much have sex with her. Okay, to have sex with her. That's what marriage is. Okay, and become one flesh. All right. You cleave unto a woman that she becomes your wife. So you can see right here, it says, "And gave her to her husband Abram to be his wife." Gave who? Hagar to be his wife. And he went in unto Hagar, and she conceived. And when she saw that she had conceived, her mistress was despised in her eyes. All right. So you can see clearly here, Abraham had many different women. All right. When you go read about it in Genesis 25. All right. I'll start at the top. It says, "Then again Abraham took a wife, and her name was Keturah, and she bare him Zimran and Jokshan and Midan and Midian and Ishbak and Shua. And Jokshan begat Sheba and Dedan, and sons of Dedan were Ashurim and Letushim and Lumim, the sons of Midian, Ephah and Epher, Hanak and Abida and Eldaah. All these were the children of Keturah. All right. So, Abraham had Keturah, he had Hagar, he had Sarah. It says, and Abraham gave all that he had unto Isaac, because Isaac was the blessing. It says, but unto the sons of the concubines which Abraham had, Abraham gave gifts and sent them away from Isaac his son, while he yet lived eastward unto the east country. Okay, so Abraham had he had women, he had concubines, he had children. All right, he's the father of many nations. Abba Raham, Abba meaning father. He's the father of a great multitude, many nations. All right, and then his son Isaac. All right, and then his son Jacob. Now Jacob had many women. Go read about it. It's Genesis chapter 29. All right, so you had this man named Laban. All right, and Jacob, he seen Laban had a daughter named Rachel. Okay, I'm gonna read it. But he got both. He got Rachel and he got Leah and he got Bilhah. This Genesis chapter 29. Then Jacob went on his journey and came into the land of the people of the east. And he looked, and behold, a well in the field, and lo, there were 3 flocks of sheep lying by it. For out of that well they watered the flocks, and a great stone was upon the well's mouth. And thither were all the flocks gathered, and they rolled the stone from the well's mouth, and watered the sheep, and put the stone again upon the well's mouth in its place. And Jacob said unto them, my brethren, whence be ye? And they said, of Haran are we. And he said unto them, know ye Laban the son of Nahor? And they said, we know him. And he said unto them, is he well? And they said, he is well. And behold, Rachel his daughter cometh with the sheep. And he said, lo, it is yet high day, neither is it time that the cattle should be gathered together. Water ye the sheep, and go and feed them. And they said, we cannot until all the flock be gathered together, until they roll the stone from the well's mouth, then we water the sheep. And while he yet spake with them, Rachel came with her father's sheep, for she kept them. And it came to pass, when Jacob saw Rachel, the daughter of Laban his mother's brother, and the sheep of Laban his mother's brother, that Jacob went near and rolled the stone from the well's mouth, and watered the flock of Laban his mother's brother. And Jacob kissed Rachel, and lifted up his voice and wept. And Jacob told Rachel that he was her father's brother, and that he was Rebekah's son. And she ran and told her father. And it came to pass, when Laban heard the tidings of Jacob his sister's son, that he ran to meet him, and embraced him, and kissed him, and brought him to his house. And he told Laban of these things. And Laban said to him, surely thou art my bone and my flesh. And he abode with him the space of a month. And Laban said unto Jacob, because thou art my brother, shouldest thou therefore serve me for naught? Tell me, what shall be thy wages? And Laban had 2 daughters. The name of the elder was Leah, and the name of the younger was Rachel. Leah was tender-eyed, but Rachel was beautiful and well-favored. And Jacob loved Rachel, and said, I will serve thee 7 years for Rachel thy younger daughter. And Laban said, it is better that I give her to thee, than that I should give her to another man, abide with me. And so it was customary for us, to come and women were a man's possession. All right, and it's gonna go back to that. Brothers, having daughters, being born unto them, and what we're gonna have wives of all of which we chose. Not gonna be. It's no new thing under the sun. All right, but here in America, Babylon the Great, under the philosophy of the so-called white man, he has a grip over the earth, and his philosophies is against the scriptures, is against being fruitful and multiplying, against polygyny, okay, which was a common thing. It was no problem. All right. It says and Jacob served 7 years for Rachel, and they seemed unto him but a few days for the love he had to her. And Jacob said unto Laban, Give me my wife, for my days are fulfilled, that I may go in unto her. And Laban gathered together all the men of the place and made a feast. And it came to pass in the evening that he took Leah his daughter and brought her to him, and he went in unto her. And Laban gave unto his daughter Leah Zilpah, his maid, for an handmaid. All right. So he got Leah and Zilpah. All right. It says, And it came to pass that in the morning, behold, it was Leah, and he said unto Laban, What is this that thou hast done unto me? Did not I serve with thee for Rachel? Wherefore thou beguiled? Wherefore then hast thou beguiled me? And Laban said, It must not be so done in our country, to give the younger before the firstborn. Fulfill her week, and we will give thee this also for the service which thou shalt serve with me yet 7 other years. And Jacob did so and fulfilled her week, and he gave him Rachel his daughter to wife also. And Laban gave to Rachel his daughter Bilhah his handmaid to be her maid. Right, so he gave Jacob his daughters and their handmaids. Okay, so it was Leah and Zilpah, and it was Rachel and Bilhah. Okay, so he had 4 women on deck. Okay, and that was customary, going back into the ancient world, and we're gonna go back to that. These are the times that we're going into. All right. It says, and he went in unto Rachel, and he loved also Rachel more than Leah, and served with him yet 7 other years. And when the Lord saw that Leah was hated, he opened her womb, but Rachel was barren. And Leah conceived and bare a son, and she called his name Reuben, for she said, Surely the Lord hath looked upon my affliction. Now therefore my husband will love me. And she conceived again and bare a son, and said, Because the Lord hath heard that I was hated, he hath therefore given me this son also. And she called his name Simeon. All right, so Leah, okay, she bare Reuben and she bare Simeon. All right, Reuben is the so-called Seminole Indians, and Simeon is the so-called Dominicans. And she conceived and bare a son, and said, Now this time will my husband be joined unto me, because I have borne him 3 sons. Therefore was his name called Levi. Okay, so here it is again. Okay, Leah having Reuben, Simeon, and Levi, and she conceived again and bare a son. And she said, Now will I praise the Lord. Therefore she called his name Judah, which is Yahweh. Yahweh thanks, and left bearing. So she conceived uh, Reuben, Simeon, Levi, and Judah, 4 children from Leah. Okay. And when Rachel saw that she bare Jacob no children, Rachel envied her sister and said unto Jacob, Give me children, or else I die. So she's like, damn, like, you know, because the Lord had her barren. Leah was hated, but the Lord kept, popping babies out of, conceiving children out of her womb. And Jacob's anger was kindled against Rachel, and he said, Am I in the Most High stead, who have withheld thee from thee the fruit of the womb? And she said, Behold, my maid Bilhah, go in unto her, and she shall bear upon my knees, that I may also have children by her. And she gave him Bilhah her handmaid to wife, to have sex with. And Jacob went in unto her, and Bilhah conceived and bare Jacob a son. And Rachel said, The Most have judged me, and have also heard my voice, and have given me a son. Therefore she called his name Dan. And Bilhah Rachel's maid conceived again, and bare Jacob a second son. And Rachel said, With great wrestlings have I wrestled with my sister, and I have prevailed. And she called his name Naphtali, right? So she and he's Jacob's bearing straight sons. All right, Dan by Bilhah was Dan, and Naphtali, which is the progenitor of the so-called Argentines, the Chileans. It says, and when Leah saw that she had left bearing, she took Zilpah, her maid, and gave her Jacob to wife. So now after Naphtali is born, here comes Leah giving um Zilpah to Jacob. And Zilpah, Leah's maid, bare Jacob a son. And Leah said, A troop cometh, and she called his name Gad. So here comes the Gadites, so-called Native American Indians. And Zilpah, Leah's maid, bare Jacob a second son. And Leah said, Happy am I, for the daughters will call me blessed. And she called his name Asher. So you had Bilhah who conceived Naphtali, and Zilpah who conceived Gad, okay, and Asher, okay. And Reuben went in the days of wheat harvest and found mandrakes in the field. Mandrakes basically to uh make your rod um make your rod harder or whatever. It says, and brought them unto his mother Leah. Then Rachel said to Leah, Give me, I pray thee, of thy son's mandrakes. And she said unto her, It is a small matter that thou hast taken my husband, and wouldest thou take away my son's mandrakes also? And Rachel said, Therefore he shall lie with thee tonight for thy son's mandrakes. And Jacob came out in the field in the evening, and Leah went out to meet him, and said, Thou must come in unto me, for surely I have hired thee with my son's mandrakes. And he lay with her that night. And the Most High hearkened unto Leah, and she conceived and bare Jacob the fifth son. And Leah said, The Most High have given me my hire, because I have given my maiden to my husband. And she called his name Issachar. Right, so now Leah bare Issachar. And Leah conceived again and bare Jacob the sixth son. And Leah said, The Most High have endued me with a great good dowry. Now will my husband dwell with me, because I have borne him six sons. And she called his name Zebulon. And afterward she bare a daughter, and called her name Dinah. And the Most High remembered Rachel, and the Most High hearkened to her and opened her womb. And she conceived and bare a son, and said, The Most High have taken away my reproach. And she called his name Joseph, and said, The Lord shall add to me another son. And it came to pass, when Rachel had borne Joseph, that Jacob said unto Laban, Send me away, that I may go unto my own place and to my own country. All right. So now Jacob is asking to be released, okay, from so he can go and be with his wives and his children. It says, Give me my wives and my children, for whom I have served thee, and let me go, for thou knowest my service which I have done thee. And Laban said unto thee, I pray thee, if I have found favor in thine eyes, tarry, for I have learned by experience that the Lord Yahweh by Hashem Shai bless me for thy sake. And he said, Appoint me thy wages, and I will give it. And he said unto him, Thou knowest how I have served thee, and how thy cattle was with me. For it was little which thou hadst before I came, and it is now increased unto a multitude. And the Lord Yahweh have blessed thee since my coming. And now when shall I provide for mine own house also? And he said, What shall I give thee? And Jacob said, Thou shalt not give me anything. If thou wilt do this thing for me, I will again feed and keep thy flock. I will pass through all thy flock today, removing from thence all the speckled and spotted cattle, and all the brown cattle among the sheep, and spotted and speckled among the goats, and of such shall be my hire. So shall my righteousness answer for me in time to come, when it shall come for my hire before thy face. Everyone that is not speckled and spotted among the goats, and brown among the sheep, that shall be accounted stolen with me. And Laban said, Behold, I would it might be according to thy word. And he removed that day the he goats that were ring straked and spotted, and all the she goats that were speckled and spotted, and every one that had some white in it, and all the brown among the sheep, and gave them into the hand of his sons. And he set 3 days' journey betwixt himself and Jacob fed the rest of Laban's flocks. And Jacob took him rods of green poplar and of the hazel and chestnut tree, and peeled white strakes in them, and made the white appear which was in the rods. And he set the rods which he had peeled before the flocks in the gutters and the watering troughs, when the flocks came to drink, that they should conceive when they came to drink. And the flocks conceived before the rods, and brought forth cattle ring straked, speckled and spotted. And Jacob did separate the lambs, and set the faces of the flocks towards the ring straked, and all the brown in the flock of Laban. And he put his own flocks by themselves, and put them not into Laban's cattle. And it came to pass, whensoever the stronger cattle did not conceive, that Jacob laid the rods before the eyes of the cattle, and the gutters, that they might conceive among the rods. But when the cattle were feeble, he put them not he put them not in. So the feebler were Laban's, and the stronger Jacob's. And the man increased exceedingly, and had much cattle, and maid servants, men servants, and camels and asses. All right, so Jacob became, a rich man. All right, and he was ready to go into his own country. All right, but you know, he has all these children, all of these wives. All right, and so that was a regular thing. Now, when you deal with all of the tribes, um, all the tribes of Israel, they also had um, many wives. Okay, um, so like Genesis 37, Genesis 38. All right, this is how we increase to be such a large nation. All right, that was part of our customs, man. Salakia, just bear with me here. All right, let me go straight to 1 Samuel chapter 1. And it says, Now there was a certain man of Ramathaim Zophim of Mount Ephraim, and his name was Elkanah, the son of Jeroham, the son of Elihu, the son of Tohu, the son of Zuph, and Ephrathite. And he had two wives. The name of one was Hannah, and the name of the other Peninnah. And Peninnah had children, but Hannah had no children. All right. So that's another example right there. And that's what of the sons of Levi. So we had many wives, man, all throughout the scriptures, man, and it's going to come back into effect. Okay. This is what the Lord is getting ready to do. The Lord is getting ready to bring us back into that glory that we had aforetime. All right. Shalom.